we actually came in through Mexico back in 1978, and we actually crossed the border, which is ironic with everything that's happening today. So I came over in 1978 with my brother and my dad. My mother was already here, and my dad went back to get us. And, we landed in Pennsylvania. We landed in this small town called York, Pennsylvania.
So welcome to the first episode of the Werks podcast. Have a good friend of mine here to be the first guest here. Introduction is it could go deep. It could go deep, but his story is very hits home to me. It's very deep to my heart, and I'm just glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're here, and it's going to be exciting, man. I want a lot of people to know your story the same way that you inspired me. Your story inspired me. Not just in business, but in life itself. In life, marriage, relationships, friendships. It goes deep. So I just want to give everybody the welcome to Elkin Sanchez.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
So yeah, man. So like I said, Elkin, I met you, about almost 10 years ago when I was working at the dealer, and when I first met you, it was like, man, I don't know what this guy does, I don't know, man, but it ended up being something totally different, and the closer we got together, the closer we ended up, we ended up talking over the years and stuff. I got to know you as a person and what you did, and I wanted you to come here first to the podcast for you could, share your story. When I had met you, I was going through a hard time, and you helped me in certain ways to get through it, and you gave me that motivation to leave my day to day. You gave me that push. We sometimes tend to look for that one person or that one thing, I guess, to give you that motivation that yo, you know what, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Go ahead and follow your dreams. It's possible. That it's possible. And sometimes we think that it could be, your dad or a relative, but in this case, it ended up being some guy I met at the dealership when I was working, and yeah, man, and yeah. So you tell me, man. You where you from? Where's your humble beginnings, as you can say, and share your story, man. Share your story.
I appreciate it, Sammy. I think that I'm honored to be here as your first episode, the Werks podcast. You want me to tell my story, but which is humbling to me, but at the same time, I'm also super proud of you. So it's like a back and forth between us, So we're going to talk about my story and so on, which is pretty cool, and thank you for that. But I also want the world to know who Sammy is, what Sammy brought to the table, and what he did, and how we got.
Eventually we'll get there. But this is all about you,
right? Because
your story got me, and it's still getting me to where to helping me achieve the goals that I'm trying to achieve,
right?
And that's what it's about, man. It's about so I know you're from Pennsylvania. What part of Pennsylvania?
Right. So I want to go a little further than that, because I think that my culture needs to be said, right? So I was born in Medellin, Colombia, right? Shout out to my people from Medellin, Colombia, right? So I was born in Medellin, Colombia. I came to the United States in 1978.
Oh, so you were born there?
Yes, I was.
Oh, see, I thought you were born in Philly. In this.
No. So I am the true definition of what they call a wetback, right? So we actually came in through Mexico back in 1978, and we actually crossed the border, which is ironic with everything that's happening today. So I came over in 1978 with my brother, my dad. My mother was already here, and my dad went back to get us. And, we landed in Pennsylvania. We landed in this small town called York, Pennsylvania. We started there. My dad got a job in Harley-Davidson at the time, and he was polishing motorcycle parts and so on. And being the fact that we were not legal in the state, back then, immigration would show up at jobs and ask for people's papers and so on, right? So we constantly had to move. There's a lot of things that happen in between that I really don't want to share. A lot of hardships that happen in between those times, and who made it difficult for us and who didn't, so on. So, but just know that things were different back then. Immigration would show up at the jobs and ask for documentation, and if you didn't have it, they would just deport you back to your country. So, with that said, we moved a lot. And we had to leave Pennsylvania, and then we landed in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
So in New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah, we landed in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Lived there a few years. Went there I went to middle school in Elizabeth, New Jersey for a few years. My brother went to high school, but then we ended up leaving New Jersey and landing in Philly. We landed in Philadelphia.
What part of Philly? Because I always hear like people say, "Oh no, I'm from South Philly, from North Philly, from this." Right. So what part of Philadelphia? I've never been.
Right. Well, you got to go to Philly. You got to get a cheesesteak out there. But we landed in Northeast Philly. My parents always did their best to try to keep us away from the riffraff, try to keep us away from all the bullshit going on. So we landed in Northeast Philly.
What year was this?
So landed in Philadelphia. Wow, let me see here. Right around, it's got to be about 89.
And the year I was born.
89, 88. Well, don't age me that much. But yeah, we landed about 88, 89 in Philly. That's where I really hit the ground running and kind of see what, so I'm like 14 years old, in Philadelphia, 13 years old, 14 years old, growing, understanding the streets. And that's where I think I really planted my roots, right? Met some amazing people, amazing friends. And fast forward, we were there. I graduated high school from Philadelphia. And my father wanted to move to Florida because he had a back issue. So the doctor recommended that the warm weather would be better for his back. And that's how we moved to Philly. That's how we moved to Florida.
Was your dad like shoving in snow in Philly and stuff like that? Is that how it is over there when it starts snowing?
Yeah, Philadelphia is amazing city, the city of brotherly love. But it's tough. It's tough place to be. Definitely a lot of snow. I'll take the sunshine over the snow plowing over any day. So we moved here in 1993, down to South Florida. My dad got a house out here. It was my dad and mom coming with my little sister. My older brother stayed back, and we moved down here in 1993.
So that's the way you made yourself down. That's the way that whole transition from Jersey to Philly and then to Miami? Was it Miami or was it more like up in Broward? So with Broward.
Yeah, we're out here in Broward County. We moved out here, Pembroke Pines, on the east side of Pembroke Pines. When I came down here to see this place,
So did you end up going to high school here? You already had graduated in high school.
graduated. I came down here to just straight to a job, straight to work.
What was your first job?
So I came down here and I was so in love with the place back at 21 that I didn't work for a year.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't work.
So you were just here enjoying it.
I was just here with my parents, and my parents had a lot of friends, and I think it was party Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Typical Colombians.
Yeah,
Typical Colombians, bro.
they were just partying every day, and it was just great. And I'm like, man, this is the promised land. Like, this is it. It doesn't get any better than this. So I took off for a year, and then I started working at Bell South Mobility, the cellular company. So I was a cellular technician there.
So how did you go from Bell South to your first business, the first business that you ended up, your first venture, I could say?
So, man, you want to go deep? So, I worked at Bell South due to some circumstances. After being there a year, I was let go. My wife was about 7-8 months pregnant. Every time I tell the story, it gets deep. I was coming out of 7-Eleven, right? And I got at that time it was pagers.
This is you're living where you live. This is in Broward or you're in Miami?
I'm living in Broward. My wife and I, she was my girlfriend at the time. We were expecting our first kid. She was 7 or 8 months pregnant. She had cravings for Slurpees from 7-Eleven, right? So Saturday night, I'm sitting at home, 6-7 o'clock at night. She's like, "Oh, I want a Slurpee." So I drive down to the local 7-Eleven, grab a Slurpee. As I'm bringing it out to her, I get a page from my boss. It's odd. So I get that page, and to fast forward the story and not to get into a bunch of drama, is to tell me that not to come back to work on Monday, because back then Bell South used to hire you through a temp agency before you became permanent. So I was let go, and I had the Slurpee. So I got home, and she actually saw my mood, my face, and she's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I said, "Honey, I just lost my job." Yeah. So that was that. Monday I was out back returning my uniforms to Bell South, and then Tuesday I was out looking for a job, and I got a job on Tuesday.
What was it that you ended up landing? Because I can just imagine, man, just the stress, the worriness, because like you said, your wife was expecting, man.
Yeah. It was a tough time, but I didn't really have time to process it, because I was just like, I need to get a job. So I got hired on that Tuesday. I got hired from a company, and they offered me like low ball, and I said, I'll take it.
Yeah, because you have no other choice.
Yeah, they offered me.
Your back was against the wall.
Right. So they offered me a low ball offer. I took it, and I said, "You're gonna realize in 1 month that I'm not that guy."
Really? And what did they say when you told them that?
He says, "Prove me wrong." And I've never had to ask for a raise. I don't know what it is to ask for a raise whenever I work for someone. But a month later, they brought me in and said, "Hey, we want to bump up your salary." 2 months after that, they brought me in again. We want to bump up your salary.
What kind of company was it?
Office equipment. We were doing office equipment back then.
What
like commercial copiers, commercial printers, which is what led me to start my first business, which is sales and service of commercial copiers and printers for businesses.
Wow. And when you started that, were you still working at? Were you kind of like in the transition? Like, okay, I'm here, but let me start my little getting my little side hustle while that's going. Then I quit my job, and then
So I was I knew the HP printer lineup real well, so I kind of specialized in that, and the companies in the area that couldn't figure out a problem, they would bring me the machines that they couldn't figure out, and I would diagnose them and I would fix it for them. So I became like a special niche, right? So when these guys were out there, they couldn't figure these problems, they would call me. However, the only situation is that they had to bring it to my home, my own at nighttime, so I could, when I got out of work, I had these machines. I had these machines in my garage, and I would get out of work and go home and fix these machines and have them ready for them for the next day. So they would pick them up the next day, and they would pay me, and that's how I got.
How long were you working like that transition, or was it pretty quick that you ended up?
It was pretty quick because the word got out that I was doing this business on my own, and I was more in need, so it was pretty quick, maybe 3 to 4 months working out of my garage, and that's when I decided. I said, you know what, honey, I'm gonna quit. She told me, honey, do not quit, do not quit.
She was probably scared.
Yeah, we just had a newborn at this time. Fast forward, we had bought our first home. When I went to quit, they offered me $20,000 more to stay.
Also, you brought a lot of value to this company.
Correct. So at that time, it was that, and then I rejected the first 20 grand, and then he upped it up 30 grand. So
they're trying to keep you, boy.
Yeah. So it was pretty nerve wracking, and at the end of the day, my wife told me, if that's what you want to do, and I'll support you. So I did it, and fast forward, here we are today.
How was that? You know, when you're going to go venture off on something totally new, you know, we always want that support system, especially when it comes time, you know, if it's your wife or, you know, your significant other. How was that, man? Was she like, that's like your ride or die?
Oh, wow. You know, she's amazing. You know what I'm saying? She, I just have this belief, right? Like, as the male of the household, you know, you go out and, you know, it's like, back in the 1800s, right? Stay home with the kids. I'm gonna go hunt. I'm gonna bring home.
We're to war.
I'm gonna go hunt. I'm gonna bring home the dinner. You know, and that's it. I think my wife is the, you know what I mean. She's the foundation, right? That's solid and understands that in order for us to get to this building, she has to allow me to put pillars up, right? So I started to build these pillars, and she says, you already got a first floor, go to the second, go to the third.
So she was very supportive.
Yeah, she's very supportive. But, you know, women in general, right? They sometimes are more conservative, right? Especially when you have
kids.
They got kids or they got stability, right? Where us men, right? You know, we want to shake the coconuts off the palm tree. We want to shake the world. We feel that we can take over everything, right? So,
and we could do more.
Yeah, we could do more. So, you know, it's important to have that significant other to be able to support you on that, you know, and that's who she is. You know, she was always like, go ahead and do what you gotta do. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, just to a testament to her is like, so I didn't make no money for like 3 years. You know what I mean? So she's holding down the fort going to work at the bank and doing what she's got to do. And I'm not bringing any money in once I left. You know what I mean? It's all going back to the business. I'm pulling in late nights. I'm talking about 2 or 3 in the morning. 2 or 3 in the morning, I'm downstairs in the garage. When I finally was enough to be able to, you know, save up and get in my own shop, you know, 2 or 3 in the morning, I'm at the shop. You know what I mean? It's the sacrifice you make in order to get to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not all peaches and cream, right? There is struggles. There's things that you sacrifice along the way in order to get to that. You know what I mean? It's that happens. That's what you do. But in order to be able to get to that place, that's what you know. I just read a quote the other day. They asked this kid, "What advice do you have for these young generation?" Right? And the kid gave a response that I sat back and I'm like, wow. This kid says, if you want to buy anything without looking at the price tag, then be willing to work without looking at the clock. So
100%.
Yeah. So yeah. So you could take that however you want, right? Whether without looking at the clock, working for someone else, or without looking at the clock, working for yourself. You know what I mean? However you want to do it, but if that's what you want to do, this is what you got to do. You know what I mean? It's nothing comes out with nothing comes with hard work.
You got to put the time in.
Right. People look at social media. You know, these influencers that are on there talking shit and doing what they do, and that's a full-time job. You know, these guys are walking around with a camera on them all the time. They're also putting the work in, putting the videos in. You know what I mean? That's a full-time job. They putting the work in. Nothing comes without putting the work in. Maybe you got a few lucky guys that it does come for that. But besides that,
but I think the faster it comes, faster it goes. You know, if you get results right away, if you make the money quick, it'll probably just go right away.
I don't know. That wasn't my case, so I can't really relate to that. But
no, it's not our case.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our case at all. But so then you started the whole business. Your wife supported you, and is that business still going on, or what are the other?
I still have it. I've been in business. I'm 50 years old.
Big 50.
Big 50. I've been in business since I was 22 years old, working for myself. During that process, I branched out and did other businesses. Some were successful, some failed. But you learn, right? That's the act of failing is to learn, right? So it's been a great ride. I still have that business during that transition and all those different partnerships that I've had also, because that's a whole different episode, partnerships, right? But yeah, I still have the business to this day. Just last year I sold one of my businesses, and
what business was that?
I had a document destruction company that
a shredding service?
Shredding service, yeah. We grew that and dominated.
How long did you have that business for?
11 years.
Wow.
12 years. Dominated South Florida, and then time to move on and do something else. We do real estate now. This is what we're trying to get into, the real estate game.
Yeah. I think your story, your whole real estate story is what, it moved me big time, man.
Mm-hmm.
It moved me big time because I know that you were invested back, and you were investing before the market crash of 08, 07, 08.
Mm-hmm.
And that story that, me knowing you now, how you were up there, like a lot of people, and were able to come down, and now you're you're able to build the other businesses. And you're thriving now, and look at and having the brokerage, right? The realtor, the brokerage, the brokerage firm now, that's what that story, that time frame, it's like, wow, man, like you could hit bottom, but you could always come right back up, man. It's just, I guess it's being persistent, you would say, right? Being persistent, not giving up, and obviously learning from your mistakes.
Yeah. So I know that story touches you because you're a real estate guy yourself and you like to understand it. But the fact that you lose everything in real estate market, right? And then you come back and jump in the same industry again, right? It's because I wasn't ready, right? I think that we evolved as human beings, and I wasn't ready, right? I was out there without the proper knowledge, without doing the proper research. And yeah, we had these properties back 2008, 2009, 2010, and market crash, and so did my portfolio, right? So, we hit reset. When I say I hit reset, I mean reset.
Zero,
right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I remember having a conversation with my wife, and honey, I'm getting personal. He's asking questions. I got to get personal. What you want me to do? All right. So I had a conversation with her, and I said, honey, and the kids, at that time, now Madison is born. And I came home and I said, guys, Daddy can't afford to live here anymore. Mommy and Daddy can't afford this house. So we probably going to have to sell the house and go to an apartment. And are you guys okay with that? Yeah, Daddy, that don't matter, whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. And that was back 2010, 2011 when everything collapsed at the end. And I said,
you were trying to stay afloat. You obviously, you were trying to keep the.
It wasn't even afloat anymore. The ship sank, right? We depleted our we depleted our savings, depleted everything, and then I remember talking to God, and I said, God, taught me a lesson, but if you give me the opportunity again, I've learned. So fast forward, credit got ruined, and so on and so on. Yes, honey, I said that. Credit got ruined and so on, and
but look at you now.
We started to rebuild, and back in, that was 2010, 11. The banks took everything. And 2014, we bought our first investment property again.
That's the one in Dania.
Dania Beach, we call it the money maker.
The money maker.
So we bought our first investment property in Dania Beach, and then that was in 2014. Now it's 2020.
Would you say your portfolio now is a lot larger than what it was back then, back in 2008?
Totally blew whatever we had going on.
Everybody back then was buying a lot of houses. Or at the time, there was like no money down. They were doing all these lendings that it was, 110% financing, 120, whatever it was, right?
Yeah. You get caught up, right? And that's why I tell you, education is a key. Having the right people in your corner is a key. You got these, and again, at the end of the day, you're the one signing and you're the one doing everything, but you got these mortgage brokers and you got these realtors, and that's why, I'm going to go back to that, but this is why I'm a realtor, and I jumped in. Now I'm not a realtor, but this is why I have the real estate business today is because of what they did to me back in 2010, right? 2008, 2009. You got everybody telling you that they're investors. That's a great investment and this and that, and they don't own anything. You know what I mean? So, I had a big problem with that. I struggled with that, and I said, you know what? When it's time, I want to come back and I want to help people. I want to get out there and
owning your own businesses. It's not easy, man. You got to be built for it, man.
Mm-hmm. But here you are now.
Oh yeah, man.
How long ago you left the dealership?
2018. 2018. 2018. Yeah, it's been a while.
How many employees you got?
We got a lot. We got a lot of employees.
Which is how much? Is it more than 90? Less than 200?
Yeah, it's up there.
Okay, all right.
It's up there. And so we're growing. Okay. We're growing. It's going good. Like I said, it took a lot, but most of the stuff that got me to where I'm at today is the guidance that you've given me, and we all
I'm humbled.
we all need some motivation sometimes. There's some people, man. Like I've asked you, I'm like, hey, I tell you, to me, you're that guy, man. You know what? You're the one that helped me and guided me. But then I have asked you, like, yo, Elkin, who was the guy for you? And your answer was, man. I was like, man, I guess everybody's not built the same, man.
Right. So
who was that guy that told you, hey, you could do this, you could do that? Who was your mentor? Who was the person that would give you advice?
I didn't have one. The only person that believed in me, my wife.
You see? That's deep, man.
Yeah.
That's
So
deep.
I didn't have a person that I could go to and say, hey, how do I do this?
But is it because you didn't?
Because I didn't seek it?
Yeah, because you didn't seek it, or it was the way that maybe your personality.
I think it was.
You don't want to ask. You don't want to ask.
I think it was my circumstances. I think being 22 years old and trying to go out there and set the world on fire, people look at you like you're crazy. But some of us are built that way, and if I had a mentor, I would.
You just,
you know what I mean? It took me 20 years to find out some stuff.
Yeah, you had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, so it's cool. I mean, along the way, I've met some great people.
And would you seek their advice? Would you ask them?
Yeah, I always ask for advice. Even to this day, there's a few people out there. You know who you are. They're in better positions, and I ask them questions. They're hesitant to share.
Is it you think it because like they're hating, or they just don't want to?
We also might have some haters that are watching, but no, I don't know if it's that they're hating, or I don't know if it's that they're hesitant to share, or I was just telling my boy Justin, who's out there somewhere. What's up, Justin? That I don't think there's bigger honor that the day I depart, that someone being able to say, this is how he impacted me, right? This is how he helped me. And I'm not necessarily speaking in finances. I'm just speaking in general, right? It could be
life.
It could be life. It could be a shoulder to cry on. It could be that I gave you a tip. It could be that I told you how to do something. It could be that we broke bread together. But I don't think there's better legacy to leave behind than being able to do that. So to me, my wife and some business partners, why don't you tell them how we do it? Because at the end of the day, they can't be me. You know what I mean? That's the reality, There's always going to be a copy. There's never going to be me, right? I think I carry a unique set of skills, and this is what I do. So I'm not scared to share anything, right? So just recently, after probably 15 years of trying, 18 years of trying, I was able to pull a first real estate group of investors together. And we bought our first property. Now we're buying our second property with investors, right? So
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So we're able to just evolve if people understand and believe, right? So that's my goal, right? So I think that's my legacy, right? It's being able to do that. But before I go into that, I want to ask you two questions.
No, I know. I haven't forgotten.
I asked you two questions, and I think that the next question that needs to be answered for the world to know is, why did you want to start a podcast? There's a million podcasts out there. There's a lot of people doing it. It's the new trend-setting bull to go out there. Why is it that you want a podcast?
Well, the same way you inspired me, helped me, guided me to this day, to not just in the business. Business was the majority of it, because as the closer we got together, then we started talking about relationship and life and this and that. We all tend to seek someone. You go online and you see all these people, that tell you all these things and try to motivate you, but it's not the same when there's somebody that you may know. There might be people in your family, close friends to you, that you've helped out, which I'm pretty sure you have, or that they know you, they know me, and they could reach out to us. They could reach out to us to help them, achieve their goals. Sometimes we just need, that one person to kind of show us, not the way, because everybody's path might be different, but to maybe encourage us, or and I say to kind of give us that belief that, hey, yo, you got this, that support system, you got this, and getting to know people, hey, coming from different walks of life, hey, look, I've been down, I've been here, I've been there, but look where I'm at now. Everybody can learn from one another and try to help each other out. So that's the reason why, we're going to be, the purpose of this is obviously to interview other people, people that have been successful, and their trials and tribulations that they've gone through, to help motivate, because sometimes we're all scared, could all be scared, to the entrepreneurship. If people are trying to seek entrepreneurship, it's scary, man. It's not all how they paint it to be, I was all excited. You saw me in the beginning, I can eat up the whole world, but after a while, it takes a toll on you too, man. But you just gotta be persistent, stay committed. This is a marathon. It's not, a quick little short race. This is a marathon. So you gotta be, gonna see.
And a great balance too.
100%.
You'll learn, your life will show you, you gotta learn that balance.
But in the beginning of starting a business, I think, from zero, you definitely, there's no balance. You're working nonstop.
Yeah, the scales are tipped over one way.
And that's why I had asked you, man, how was it with your wife? Because I got kids, and when I started my business, it was tough. Juggling kids, relationship, all that stuff. It's family time. It's tough, man. It's definitely tough. But if that's your dream, that's your goal, and you feel that's your purpose, then that's the way I see it. You gotta do you. Because at the end of the day, your family and everybody, they're gonna lean on you. When you become that successful, they're gonna come to you, and you'll be able to help your whole family out. You know, you're gonna be that guy.
Right.
And in my family, I want to be that guy. You know, I want to be that guy.
I wear them pants.
Oh, yeah, I want to wear them pants, man. It's you know, it comes with good, the good and the bad. The good and the bad it comes with, you know. So,
no, but I think I'm extremely proud of you. You are that guy. You're wearing them pants, and you probably continue to wear them pants, right? You've changed many people's lives the last 7 years, and I think you're just beginning. So the world is yours, homie. Like Scarface said, the world is yours. This is a full circle thing right now that I was I was driving here, and I'm like, shit, I'm going to be on this podcast. I'm not a podcast type of guy, but I'm going to be on this podcast. And then Sammy, who hypes me up and all that crap because, what we did together. But there's a guy behind the scenes back there, Andres, known as my cousin.
shout out to Voxel Media.
Yeah, exactly. He's recording the first episode, right, of something that he's been trying to get me to do for like 7 years. Deal, we got to do this podcast. Deal, we got to do a podcast. Deal, people need to hear your story. Deal, people, the way, your voice, the way you speak, blah, blah, blah. People need to hear it. He's been trying to get me to do this for 7 years. And I've never paid attention to him, but full circle, I'm on your podcast, and he's the guy behind the cameras directing the shit, so it's a pretty amazing moment right now. And I happen to have Justin here with me, who is dear to my heart. So it's like a surreal moment. What even makes it better is, right, that my wife and son were supposed to be here today. And I'm kind of glad they're not, because they're actually going to have to tune in, right, and play the podcast to be able to see how it went, right?
100%.
So it's all so it's all happening so fast and so surreal, and I the more that I talk, the more comfortable I get, right? And
No, there's gonna be more episodes.
Nah,
There's a lot more story. There's a lot more story.
Yeah,
it's too much to get
to fit into one.
Little hour. So.
Like, we can't have a 10-hour consistent podcast and shit.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But there's definitely a lot more that I think people should hear and should know.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you, what you're doing. We definitely have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely do, man. We definitely do. So anyways, Elkin, I just want to say thank you for the time. Thank you for being the first guest. I'm excited, man. Always, and thank you for always being supportive of me, man. It's I don't know if to say you're like a father figure or like a brother, because I see you. You're obviously a bit older than me. I've always been surrounded by older people, but yeah, man, you just mean a lot to me, man.
Don't make me cry at the end, right? But I thank you for the kind words. That's what it's about, right? So if I'm here and I'm able to change one person, help one person, make somebody a believer, right? I think the biggest word of the podcast today is believe, right?
100%.
Grabbing someone and saying, this is what your idea? This is what you got? Here's a list of all the shit you need to do. And at the end of the day, I believe in you. So go do it. So if you were that guy, man, you were that person, right? So it was pretty easy, right? You're pretty resilient, you're disciplined, and you're a go-getter, man. And you're willing to put the hard work in. You don't want those excuses and none of all that bitch shit that happens today.
Yeah, but there was one thing that you told me that to this day I don't forget. And it was remember, you're giving me free advice. Everything's free. You got all these people trying to, make a buck to try to help somebody else. This is all free advice that you're giving me, guidance, taking time out of your busy schedule. And what you would tell me is, as long as you don't let me down, you don't, you're doing all this, I'm dedicating all this time, but you got to be 100. And to this day, I'm always thinking about that. I can't let Elkin down, man. I got to make sure that whatever I set my goals to be, and I've shared with you, I don't want to let you down, man. I don't want to let you down, because I think that you have committed and have taken so much time to help me. I can't let you down.
I respect that, right? But I think
because you don't want what it was is that you told me, don't waste my time.
I was going to correct you on that.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Don't waste my time, because you told me I've helped people out, but they end up wasting my time.
So
and I didn't want to piss you off.
Most valuable asset is time, right? And I hate when people waste my damn time, right? And that's what I told you. To correct you on that part is, I told you the following. Don't let yourself down, because that's most important, letting yourself down. But don't waste my time.
Correct.
All right. And you said, I'm not going to waste your time. I will never let you down. That's what you told me. But yeah, my time is valuable, right? So I'm sitting here for an hour today, right? This is an hour I'm never going to get back. But I choose to be here, right? I choose to spend time here with you today because it's a great moment. So yeah, man, I think that, I look forward to coming back and being able to see, catch up and chop it up. But thank you for having me on your first episode. Thank you for having me on the Werks podcast. And I am extremely, extremely proud of where you are today, where you have come from, and I'm ecstatic to see where you're going. And I know it's never going to stop, because that's the type of guy you are. So continue to live your dreams without any fucking boundaries. And during that process, never forget to live. You know what I mean? And that's my advice to you.
I appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on, man. And thank you once again, man. Till next time.